Good morning. My name is Barbara Barrett, Executive Director of the Frontier Duty Free Association. The Frontier Duty Free Association, or FDFA, is the national association representing Canada's 32 land border duty-free shops. Our national mandate is to promote the development and success of the land border duty-free sector, which has traditionally been vibrant and successful export-only contributor to the Canadian economy. With me today is Tania, owner and operator of Blue Water Bridge Duty Free Shop in Sarnia, Ontario, and president of FDFA's board. We're also joined virtually by Alexander Bachand of Boutique Hors Taxe de Philippsburg in Quebec. And beside me is Kyle Hebert of Emerson, Manitoba, and Emerson Duty Free. Before I talk about our report today, I would like to highlight that our land border duty-free stores are small, family-owned, export businesses in border communities across Canada. Since the creation of the Land Border Duty-Free program in 1982, the federal government and these small locally run family businesses have cooperated in building local border communities by driving export sales and keeping money in Canada that would otherwise be spent in the United States. The stores ensure visitors buy Canadian products before leaving Canada. Importantly, any items not bought at these stores are lost sales to the Canadian economy and tax system and are simply bought in the U.S. stores only a few hundred meters down the road. Today we are here to release the competitiveness report that highlights the critical challenges facing Canada's land border duty-free stores. This report clearly shows that Canadian duty-free stores are unable to compete with our U.S. counterparts due to the unnecessary red tape, unfair regulations, and misapplied domestic policies. Canadian duty-free stores are an integral part of the Canadian economy, particularly in rural and border communities. They support local economies, provide jobs, and promote uniquely Canadian products. However, these businesses face an unlevel playing field because they are burdened with domestic policies and taxes that U.S. duty-free stores do not face. Additionally, the ongoing pandemic recovery and looming tariff threats from the U.S. are putting our businesses at even greater risk. The 20-month closure of the Canada-U.S. border during the pandemic was devastating for the land border duty-free industry, with sales plummeting by 95%. And although the border has reopened, travel habits have changed. Now, as the U.S. threatens to impose tariffs, the stakes are even higher. These tariffs would not only disadvantage our Canadian businesses, but they would also exacerbate the already fragile situation, making it even harder for Canadian land border duty-free stores to recover and compete. The combination of reduced travel and the risk of tariffs places our small businesses in an increasingly precarious position. Immediate steps are needed to ensure that our businesses can recover, thrive, and continue to contribute to Canada's economy, and most particularly to our treasured border communities. Tania?
Thank you, Barbara. As president of the FDFA, I want to emphasize the urgency of addressing these issues. This report makes it clear that Canadian land border duty-free stores are facing challenges that the government can easily rectify. Our small, independently owned, mostly family-run businesses have been an integral part of border communities across Canada for over 40 years. We are asking for simple, immediate actions to level the playing field. We are not asking for subsidies or handouts now, but for the ability to compete fairly with our only competitors, the U.S. retail stores and U.S. duty-free stores. Immediate actions such as reaffirming the export status of Canadian duty-free stores across all government departments, cutting the red tape, and adjusting unfair tax policies are all practical, revenue-neutral steps that the government can immediately take. These actions would allow our businesses to compete and continue to contribute to the economy, especially as we face ongoing challenges such as the decline of cross-border traffic. Canadian duty-free stores are not just businesses. They are the cornerstones of their border communities. Their survival is crucial to the economic well-being of these regions. Moreover, Canadian land border duty-free stores serve as the last stop to keep money in Canada that would otherwise be spent in the U.S. By addressing these regulatory and tax barriers, we can ensure that our businesses remain a viable part of Canada's economy, promoting Canadian-made goods and supporting local border jobs. I'll hand the floor over to Alexandra Bachand, who joins us virtually. Alexandra?
Merci, Tania. Bonjour, je m'appelle Alexandra Bachand, propriétaire et opératrice de troisième génération de la boutique hors taxe de Philipsburg au Québec. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes ici pour présenter le rapport sur la compétitivité qui met en évidence les défis critiques auxquels sont confrontées les boutiques hors taxe des frontières terrestres du Canada. Ce rapport montre clairement que les boutiques hors taxe canadiens ne peuvent pas concurrencer avec leurs homologues américains en raison de la paperasse inutile, de réglementations injustices et de politiques nationales mal appliquées. Nos petites entreprises indépendantes, pour la plupart familiales, qui font partie intégrante des communautés frontalières du Canada depuis plus de 40 ans, demandent des mesures simples et immédiates pour rétablir l'équité. Nous ne demandons pas de subventions, mais la possibilité de concurrencer équitablement avec nos seuls concurrents, les magasins de détail américains. Des actions immédiates, telles que la réaffirmation du statut d'exportation des magasins hors taxes canadiens dans tous les départements gouvernementaux, la réduction de formalités administratives et l'ajustement de politiques fiscales injustes sont des mesures pratiques et sans incidence sur les revenus que le gouvernement peut prendre maintenant. Ces actions permettent à nos entreprises de prospérer et de continuer à contribuer à l'économie, notamment face aux défis continus tels que la baisse du trafic transfrontalier. Les magasins hors taxes canadiens ne sont pas seulement des entreprises. Ils constituent la pierre angulaire des communautés frontalières et leur survie est cruciale pour le bien-être économique de ces régions. De plus, les magasins hors taxes à la frontière canadienne constituent le dernier arrêt pour garder au Canada de l'argent qui sera autrement dépensé aux États-Unis. En éliminant ces barrières réglementaires et fiscales, nous pourrons garantir que nos entreprises demeurent un élément clé de l'économie canadienne en promouvant les produits fabriqués ici au Canada et en soutenant les emplois locaux. Les magasins hors taxes canadiens font partie intégrante de l'économie canadienne, particulièrement dans les communautés rurales et frontalières. Ils soutiennent les économies locales, créent des emplois et font la promotion de produits uniques canadiens. Cependant, ces entreprises se trouvent dans une situation inégale car elles sont soumises à des politiques nationales et à des taxes que les magasins hors taxes américains ne subissent pas. De plus, la reprise en cours post-pandémique et les menaces tarifaires imminentes de la part des États-Unis exposent nos entreprises à des risques encore plus grands. La fermeture de 20 mois de la frontière Canada-États-Unis pendant la pandémie a été dévastatrice pour le secteur des magasins hors taxes terrestres, avec une chute de vente de 95 %. Bien que la frontière soit maintenant réouverte, les habitudes de voyage ont changé. Maintenant, alors que les États-Unis menacent d'imposer des tarifs, les enjeux sont encore plus importants. Ces tarifs ne feraient pas seulement désavantager nos entreprises canadiennes, mais aggraveraient la situation déjà fragile, rendant encore plus difficile la reprise et les concurrences pour les magasins hors taxes canadiens. La combinaison de la baisse de voyages et du risque de tarifs place nos petites entreprises dans une position de plus en plus précaire. Le moment d'agir est maintenant. Des mesures immédiates sont nécessaires pour garantir que nos entreprises puissent se remettre, prospérer et continuer à contribuer à l'économie du Canada et surtout à nos précieuses communautés frontalières. Merci. Barbara?
Merci, Alexandra. Thank you, Tania. I want to be very clear. Without hyperbole, Canadian land border duty-free stores are at a critical juncture. In light of the current cross-border context, without immediate action, we will lose the industry as stores across Canada are on the brink of closure. The time to act is now. Cut the red tape and adjust unfair tax policies to allow our Canadian businesses to compete fairly with U.S. retailers and ultimately survive. We urge the government to act quickly and decisively and level the playing field to allow our Canadian businesses to compete with our only competitor, the U.S. retailers. We now stand open for questions in English or French.
For those joining on Zoom, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. Pour ceux qui joignent à nous en ligne, s'il vous plaît, utilisez la fonction main levée si vous avez une question. Is there something you would like to add to your statement? Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose que vous voulez ajouter à votre déclaration?
Non, merci.
Thank you. This concludes the press conference. Merci, c'est ce qui conclut la conférence de presse.
Merci.